Hey guys, it's a really gray day out on Apollo Beach today. You've reached the Artist's Outpost.
One of the issues that you have to deal with when you're working in the field is never really knowing what your conditions are going to be until you get to your location and you look around. A lot of the time, it's the weather, like today. I'd really been looking forward to painting an early morning sunrise, with those gold reflections in the water, maybe some blue backlit surf. As it turned out, the day's cloudy and my light is cool and diffused, totally graying my subject and dulling the colors. That's okay though. You work with what you're given, and I'm just grateful to be out here working in the salty humidity, mashing mud on a canvas. I just have to change my mindset for painting in grays instead of bright colors this morning. When I say grays, I'm not talking about painting with just black and white. I'm talking about very desaturated colors. You're almost dealing with temperatures instead of color. Although we have a cloudy sky today, it's still a varying degree of cool temperatures in very close values. So the blues on my palette will get a workout today. Also, there won't be much in the way of shadows to contrast against. You have to work with what you get. I've made plans to paint somewhere before and had to cancel due to unforeseen circumstances. A lot of times, it's something like rain or bad weather. But one time I arrived at a painting location in Yellowstone and there were buffalo laying down in the spot where I wanted to work. Another time I'd planned to paint in a formal garden, and when I got there, there was a wedding in progress. I've even been chased out of a location by alligators. You always have to keep in mind that as a field painter, you may need to alter your plans and change your location at a moment's notice, or scrub your plans entirely. My brother used to say, a good soldier always knows when to retreat. I was on a paint trip with a buddy in Colorado once, and we got 3 really great painting days in before we were chased down the mountain by a huge snowstorm on the 4th day. The snow was so deep that the last 2 days of the trip were a wash. That's just what happens, and it doesn't do any good to get all upset about it. It's part of the price that you pay for those amazing days where conditions at your location are perfect. There are way more of those than there are bad ones. You'll notice I don't spend a great deal of time rendering details and cleaning up lines when I'm painting outdoors. I work as simply as possible. I break in the composition roughly and as quickly as I can, and I describe the scene with simple notes of color. I tend to reserve that sort of detailed brushwork for the studio. Out in the field, everything's changing quickly. The sun is moving across the sky, and the colors are flattening as they're filtered through a different thickness of atmosphere. At this location, the tide's going out and my subject is moving away from me. There's no time for nitpicking and softening edges. Make your statement as quickly and as concise as you can, and then move on to the next painting. Favorite things about field work is how some of the environment has a way of getting into your painting. At least this seems to be the case with oil. I'm always getting dirt and sand or twigs, sometimes bugs. I don't even let this bother me. I just stir them into the paint and let it become part of the picture. It's not as if I'm out here trying to paint the great American masterpiece. I'm just knocking out a little field sketch to use for reference in bigger paintings back in my studio. Field painting is really important for your studio work. You begin to get more selective about the details in which you're willing to render carefully after you've been painting commando style for a while. You start to realize what you can get away with just leaving whole areas less representational, more abstract. You can start to use this way of working to control your viewer. Painting outdoors just makes your studio work better. Even if you're not getting the results you want out in the field, think of it as your workout time in the gym. It's making you stronger every day, whether you can feel it or not. After enough mileage, you do start to get good results, at least sporadically. Nobody gets great results in the field 100% of the time anyway. The whole reason you're out there is to test and to explore, and form a muscle memory to mixing and applying color for when it comes time to perform your more formal artwork. I think I've done about as much damage as I can to this canvas. This is the point when many young artists attempt to assess the success or failure of their painting. Get in the habit of just packing your work away. Don't look at it for a while, maybe a day or two. When you do finally pull it out for inspection, don't get all judgmental about it. Use it to remember what it felt like and what it smelled like to be painting in this particular location. Carry that part of the experience onto your next painting adventure. As for myself, I'm going to go get a dry shirt and look for a waffle in town. This is Ronnie Williford. Stay safe, be curious, and get some paint on ya.